Okay, let's take a look at a couple graphing the circles where the equation is not in standard form. A little crash course, if you're looking at a standard form of a circle, um, you have this standard form equation here, and basically what this is telling you is that the center of your circle is h and k, and your radius is r. And so basically your radius is the square root of whatever this number is here. You take the square root of this number and that'll get you a radius. So if we look at this question we're working here, you notice it's not in this parentheses standard equation format. So one thing we want to use right away, a previous skill, is completing the square. And if you need a little review on that, you could go back and find the completing the square help video. And basically what this allows us to do is simplify or factor our equation by using perfect squares and whatnot. So what we'll do is we'll move the negative 21 to the other side, and then I'm also going to put the x over here. We're going to add here, add the completing a square to this space here, and then remember we moved the 21 to the other side by subtracting 21 from both sides. And I just basically move this here because it's easier to organize. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to do b over 2 squared. The b comes from here. This is your b right here. So we have 10 over 2 squared, 5 squared, 25. And the 25 goes here. Now, in order to keep an equation balanced, what you do to one side, you want to do the other. So we're going to add a 25 over here as well. Now simplify the equation, and we end up with x squared plus 10x plus 25 plus y squared is equal to 4. And now, if you look at this here, and you unfoil or factor this, you can actually factor this to, because we use the completing the square, you can factor this to a x plus 5 squared plus y squared equals 4. And basically, meaning if I did x plus 5, and I foiled this, I would end up with this here. So since this is basically multiplying by itself, you could say it's to the second power. And now we could look at this in standard form and say, okay, here I can identify my h. And since the y squared is by itself, you're just going to say your k is 0. Remember, our h and k are a center. Now remember, though, it said x minus h squared. So we have x plus 5 squared, which means we had x minus a minus 5 squared. So our h is actually a negative 5. And remember, our y is a 0 because we don't have a parentheses with our y, so we're just going to assume it's basically like y plus 0 squared. And then if you take the square root of 4 here, that's going to get you your radius, so your radius is 2. Now to graph that, you go to negative 5, 0 on your graph, and you do 2 units in either or any direction, north, south, west, right, left, right, whatever, and you create your circle. So basically the key is using complete the square to get the standard form. That's what you want to do there. And once you do there, you want to identify your h's, your k's, and your radius. Let's look at another example. Here we have same thing. Just the equation, again, needs to be, I just like to say, reorganized in a way where we can find where the complete, organize and find where the complete the square is. So let's bring the 8x this way by subtracting 8x from both sides, and let's bring this 12 on the other side here to help us complete the square. We have x squared minus 8x plus y squared is equal to negative 12. Now, what we want to do to complete the square is add those spaces in which we're going to add in that perfect square to allow us to factor and get a parentheses. And what we do to one side, we're going to do the other. Remember, we get our b from this number here. This is our b. Actually, let's use a different color. Let's use yellow. This number here is always going to be your b. So we have the negative 8 over 2 squared. I look at this 4 squared 16. I don't want to go through each step. We can. I don't want to go through each step. We could do each. We could do the simple math here, the 8 over 2, whatnot. Now, from here you could see again, you're able to factor. Let's get this in black. You're able to factor this to a x minus 4 squared. Now, keep in mind the minus is coming from the fact that this is a minus here. Okay, so if this was x squared plus 8x, that would be an x plus 4. But this sign changes this complete the square to be a negative. If I were to, foil this, this is what I would end up with. And we have, again, our h here. Now, it is x minus 8, so the last one we looked at, you have the negative sign already, so our h is just 4. Our h is just 4 here. There's no parentheses with the y, so basically you look at this like y plus 0, so we'll call your y 0. This is your h and k, or your x and y. And then take the square root of this, and you'll get your radius of 2. 4 and 0 here for our point we're going to plot. Go 2 units in either direction. Actually we should be going from here, and then you could graph your circle. So again, we're little reorg here of our numbers and variables, little complete the square, some factoring, and then some identifying your h, k, and radius. One more example. This one, we're now looking at a new wrinkle, we'll say, a new wrinkle in our reorg of our. So what you see here is there's coefficients in front of your x squared and your y squared. So if you want to reorganize, or first we want to simplify, and you could do that by using the LCM, lowest common multiple of all this, using your 3. And by factoring by 3, I end up with x squared plus y squared plus 6y plus 8 equals 0. And we'll move this 8 right, and then we'll open up a space, this time for the y. So you have your x squared plus y squared plus 6y plus our complete the square space, negative 8 plus. Now you're using, again, this is your b, so you have 6 over 2 squared, 3 squared, 9. 9 goes in here and here. You have x squared plus y squared plus 6y plus 9 equals negative 8 plus 9 is 1. You'll factor your y trinomial here, we could call it, to y plus 3 squared equals 1. Now keep in mind this is, I'm like switch color here. This is y minus k. So in order to get a y plus 3, if you have y minus k, you should have had y minus a minus 3 squared. You could look at it like that, which would tell me my h is again, x is by itself, so we could look at this again too, like x plus 0 squared. So my x is 0, my y is negative 3, and then the square root of 1 is just simply 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 0, negative 3, go 1 unit in each direction, and you've graphed your circle. Hope this helps. These are 3 really good questions, especially some good prerequisite for calculus, some good review. Hope this helps. Thanks for stopping by.